Okay, I bought 7 PlayStation 5 controllers. I'm going to go ahead and test them, and we're going to see if we can fix them. And I'm also going to be upgrading all of these to our Hall Effect joystick mods. The non-drifting ones, these here. So I'm going to be upgrading all 7 of these to the Hall Effects joystick mods, assuming that I can fix them. And then these will also be up for sale. So you can go click in the description of the video, you can go click the link and it'll take you to our eBay store where you can purchase these for yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and test these, and then I will show you guys what the problems are afterwards. Real quick, as I'm testing these controllers, a lot of people always ask what website I use to test these. And you can see this one's got really bad stick drift. It is called hardwaretester.com, but I just type in gamepad tester and it pops up. It's usually the first link. So yeah, I go through, I test all the buttons, and you can see that all the buttons work, triggers work, R1, L1 works. It's just this right thumbstick is tweaking out. So, but I'm gonna go ahead and replace both of them anyway. So yeah. Okay, these are all the controllers after we tested them. These are all the different issues. So all of them are stick drift, except for number 2 has no power, and number 6, the X button's not working. Number 7 didn't even have any issues. So first off, to tear these controllers down, they are pretty easy. What I like to do is take a plastic spudger, and then I just go around the bottom part of the controller. It's like just held in by a clasp. Then you can go through, unclasp the rest of them, and I like to do both sides. I like to use plastic too because I don't want to chew up the plastic of the controller with metal. However, once I get this bottom piece off, it reveals 2 screws, but then there's 2 more that are underneath the R1 and L1 buttons. That, however, I will use a metal one just to get under there and pry, but I just be soft and careful so I don't damage any of the plastic. I show later in the video what happens when it looks like when you do damage it with some sort of metal or something. Regardless, after that you got 4 Phillips head screws, 2 on the bottoms and then 2 where the R1 and L1 buttons were. And then after that you can just unclasp the middle latches there and then slowly pull the controller apart. I like to just work both sides, and then yeah, just back shell pops off, revealing the controller. So first things first, you want to take the battery out. It just plugs in right there. Just wiggle it until it comes out. And then you want to take the battery housing out, which is held by 1 Phillips head screw. After you get that out, there is a ribbon cable that is attached to the housing. So you want to pull that ribbon cable out, and then the housing comes out right after that. And then I just go ahead and I pull out the other 4 remaining ribbon cables, 1 on bottom, 1 for each of the triggers, and then the 1 on top. So go ahead and just wiggle those until they come out. Pretty easy. The 1 on top sometimes is a little bit trickier, so as you can see here, I just used a pair of pliers, but I was very gentle with it as to not tear the ribbon cable. After you get those out, then you put some flux on, and then you want to take the rumble motors out. If you forget, black is always on top, so it's black and then red. Now after you get those rumble motors desoldered, then you can just go ahead and push on the thumbsticks, pushing the board out, revealing the thumb board. Then you can set the rest of the controller aside, and then pop off the thumbsticks, revealing the board here. And what I like to do is I have this clamp that I put them in. You want to flux everything up so it's nice and easy. I also like to add leaded solder, because the lead-free solder takes a lot of heat to melt them. So when you add the leaded solder, they heat up at a very a much more manageable temperature. They heat up a lot faster, easier to work with, so go ahead and do that. But I do have a solder sucker. Now this tool I'm using, this is a soldering iron tip that is specific for taking out these joysticks, and this is a must-have tool. I've done so many controllers without this, and I will never go back. This is the absolute fastest way to remove these joysticks. I think I paid like 40 bucks for this soldering iron tip, and it was worth every penny. After that, I go ahead and I just suck out all of the solder that is left in the holes. Solder suckers just work wonders. It's super fast, super easy, highly recommend it. There are other ways that I've shown on the channel if you don't have these tools at your disposal. That I mean, there's other ways to get the solder out and whatnot. So yeah, after that I clean up the area, and then we can go ahead and insert the thumbstick. And what I like to do is I put more flux on, obviously, but I like to add a little bit of solder to my iron, and then I will push up on the thumbstick to make sure it's sitting flat with the board. And I will solder in just one mounting pin on one side, and then I'll go to the other side and do another mounting pin, just so it sits flat. And then I'll go ahead and just solder all of the different points on the thumbstick, solder them nice, and then I clean the area, and then I just rinse and repeat on the other side. Once again, it is, you know, pretty important that you use a solder sucker to clean out all of the holes so that the thumbsticks can slide in nice, you don't damage anything, and that it just makes soldering easier. It makes everything easier. It makes the thumbstick sit flat. So yeah, just make sure you try to get as much of the solder out, if not all of it, because you're just going to make your life a lot easier. Then once again, add more solder, or add more flux, add more solder, rinse and repeat, clean the area. And yeah, it's pretty painless switching these thumbsticks. Very easy. If I can do it, anybody can do it. So when you calibrate these PlayStation 5 controllers, you have to have the battery in or it won't register. So I just use Gamepad Tester. It's just a website. After you plug it in, it should connect. And then you can see here where I need to calibrate it. So this is your x-axis, this is your left and right, and then the one on the side is your y-axis, the up and down. On this right stick, I need to bring it down, so I'm going to turn it sideways, and whatever way you want it to go, that's the way that you're going to pull the stick. So if you want it to go down, you pull down, and then you just stick it in one of the holes, and then pull it back just a hair. You need to go down just a little more. That's pretty good. Now we're going to do the x-axis. I need it to go over to the left. A little more. That's pretty good. I'm going to make it go down just a hair more. Yep, pretty good. Almost centered. Now with the left stick, we just need to go left a little bit. So pull to the left, stick a needle in one of the holes, move it just a hair. That's pretty good. So with these sticks too, these Hall Effects ones, when you plug them in, they will jitter like this. That's just how they are. Doesn't matter, doesn't mean anything. So that's how you calibrate them. Okay, this one is calibrated and ready to go. I'm going to put it all back together, but I am going to leave the battery out because the next controller I have, I need to test to make sure that it's either a bad battery or a bad USB connector. So that is where we're gonna go from there. But I will show you how to just assemble these back together. Pretty simple. So make sure that you stick your thumbsticks on before you put it back into the controller. This is kind of the tricky part. You got to get it in there without you got to make sure all your ribbon cables are flipped up, and then your rumble motors as well. So I usually just put it in and then grab some tweezers, pull everything out. So we have two there. You got this ribbon cable here. These are the tricky ones. This one out. Good. And then you just push it down on in until it sits flat. Okay, what I like to do first, you got this one here that just got shoved down in there. Don't forget this one down in here. Don't forget that little guy. And shove it down. So So typically what I like to do first is I'll just put in all my ribbon cables. I'll solder the rumble motors back in at the end. So get all your ribbon cables back in. Okay, got all those back in. Now I'm going to solder our rumble motors back in. Black is on top, so black first. And red. Now the last thing is we're going to put this battery housing back on. And there is a screw hole, so it's pretty easy to line up. Sometimes you got ribbon cables in the way. Because it should sit flat like so. Go ahead, put your screw back in. Hold it all nice and tight. And then your final ribbon cable is this one on the side. Here. Sometimes it's easier to get it with tweezers. Get it in. Okay. Once you get that in, then the last bit is you'll take your battery and you'll put your battery, plug it back in here, put the battery in there, and then close it up. But like I said, I'm going to leave this apart for right now because I want to use the battery to test my other controller. So controller number 1, joystick drift, is fixed. Now we're going to move on to controller number 2 and see why it doesn't have power. So I'm just going to go ahead and tear that down and we'll see if we can diagnose it. This isn't always a good sign. So the one with no power, you look here, somebody's chewed this up trying to get inside, so who knows what we're gonna see. Okay, I just tested it. It is not the battery because I took the battery out of this one that's not working. I plugged it into this one, it does work. I also swapped the batteries, put the good battery that I thought was in here, did not work, so we have a different issue. So I can't figure it out. We probed around. We are getting power through the charge port, and there is power going through the battery. So somebody could have plugged this into a different power source and fried a small component on here somewhere. So I'll keep probing around and messing with it, but this may be one I come back to later. So for the next ones we're gonna do 3, 4, 5 all have stick drift, and then number 7 has no issues, but I'm gonna swap the thumbsticks on that anyway, so I'll go ahead and do that off camera, and then we'll look at number 6 if the X button doesn't work. Okay, I think I found our problem here. The connector here is really dirty. There's some hairs there. And then the ribbon cable here, where it makes contact, is really dirty as well. So I'm going to go ahead and clean that first and see if that fixes it. And if it doesn't, then I'm going to have to take this whole unit apart and check the other side of the button ribbon part. Okay, so that did not end up working, so I'm gonna have to take this all the way apart. We're gonna examine the other button contactors. Okay, it doesn't look bad, so I'm gonna just try cleaning it a little more. I'll probably scratch these down a little bit and see if I can get those to look a little better, and then give it another try. And if it doesn't work, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this working board here and put it in the first controller that we couldn't get to work. We were having power issues. Okay, I just tested it and that was it. That's all it needed, was just a little cleaning, so it is working now. So I'm going to go ahead and put the Hall effect sticks in this one, and throw it together, and then that should give us 6 out of 7 fixed. Once again, I just wanted to show one more time how quickly this new soldering iron tip that I have is. I'm super highly recommended that, for me anyway, that you should get it. It makes desoldering these thumbsticks a cakewalk. So it's in the shape of the thumbsticks themselves. You can see, I have leftover solder on there, so I try to clean it off and shake it off, but it's almost instantaneous. It takes a couple seconds. You heat up the solder from the thumbsticks, and then they just slide out. I like to use some pliers that I just hold on, pretty tight on the bottom. And then as soon as the solder heats up, you can just slide the thumbstick right out. Once again, it's a very painless process, and I will never go back to not using the soldering iron tip. After that, suck out the solder again. Make sure you try to get as much as possible, if not all of it, because it'll just make your life easier. Makes putting the joysticks back in super easy. And you also want the board to cool down too. I previously had used heat from a heat gun. That was how I would take out the thumbsticks. And doing that, I would ruin the older ones. Not that they weren't ruined already with stick drift, but you just need to make sure that the board cools down so you don't melt the new thumbsticks that you put in there. So with the new soldering iron tip I use, the board doesn't really get hot at all. As soon as those thumbsticks come out, the board cools off. I clean out the solder. So okay, that is it. We were able to fix 6 of our 7 controllers, and this one just has something's wrong with this circuit board. So this may be another fix for a different video. I might just keep messing with this and see what I can figure out. But if you want to buy these, I'm going to have a link in the description where you can go to our eBay store and you can purchase these for yourself. That is the video. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. If you want us to fix your stuff, get a hold of us and you can send your repairs into us and we will go ahead and try and repair them. But yeah, that is the video. Thank you guys for watching. If there's things you want to see us fix, let us know. And as always, we will see you in the next video.